Join me on this 4-part series for your 2026 breakthrough. Yeah, I asked a question. Your 2026 breakthrough. Listen, 2026 is already knocking.
Connecting the dots, connecting his guests to the world, creating more connections. Welcome to The Connection. Meet your host, author, coach, Air Force veteran, Jay Miralles.
I don't want you falling into some trap everyone does this time of year, right? It's almost time for the end of 2025. The new of 2026 is going to come in, and talking about New Year's resolutions, Monday resolutions. Oh, I'll start next month. You and I already know that. That's a delay tactic, dressed up as good intentions. Chapter 3 in my book called Let's Go, right? Chapter 3 reminds you the moment you decide is the moment the future shifts. That's on page 41. Not on January 1st, not when the calendar looks cute, right now. Today, we kick off a 4-part series that will take you from hope to clarity to execution to transformation. But first, you need to answer one raw, honest question. Do you have a plan? Let's knock this out. The direct challenge is to stop lying to yourself. Let's get real. Most people don't have a plan. They have wishes. A wish sounds like, I want to lose weight. I want to make more money. I want to retire early. I want to fix this thing that I've been trying to fix. I want to be a better person. That's very vague, but a plan sounds like, here's what I'm doing Monday at 8 a.m. Here are the uncomfortable things I'm willing to sacrifice. List 1, list 2, list 3. Here's a system I'm following even when I don't feel like it. See, you've got to decide on all that. In Let's Go, the gap between what people say they want and what they're actually willing to do. It's on page 58. The gap is where most people's dreams go to die. And sometimes the gap is this big. Could you imagine all of your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, all the things that you've ever wanted fall into a small gap just like that? The program overload problem. Let me hit you with more truth. You can buy a 10-day challenge, a 6-week transformation, a $47 online course if you buy it right now within 24 hours, or a $20,000 prestigious mastermind. You can get a private coach. You can have accountability groups. You can have apps. You can have planners, affirmations. You can tie a string to your finger, whatever. But here's what every program on earth has in common. They don't work unless you do. So why do people fail so often? Because the thing they want isn't valuable enough to them to justify the pain it will take to get it. I'm going to say that one more time. Because the thing that you want so bad isn't valuable enough for you to justify the pain it will take to get it. On page 63, comfort is the silent killer of potential. If the pain of staying the same isn't greater than the pain of change, you will never change. That's over and over. I didn't make that up. I've learned that throughout my life. If the pain of staying the same isn't greater than the pain of change, then why change? Why bother? And I think that happens with a lot of us. The motivation crash. Here's the cycle. You get hyped up. All right, I just went to a conference. I just bought this program. And I got a new plan. I got a new journal. I got this app. It's gonna notify me every time I'm behind on my goal. You're telling yourself, let's go. And for a little bit, you're unstoppable. Then life goes, hey, yo, what's up, Jay? Look like you're working hard there. And you look back and you say, oh man, this is difficult. The law of intent starts to fade over time. I intended to change this behavior. I intended to get better. I intended to get faster. I intended to get stronger. I intended, to learn a new language. But as time passed by, it wasn't as exciting anymore. The law of intent says as time goes by, the feeling fades away. You explain how the inner voice never attacks on day one. It waits until you're tired, distracted, and unguarded, right? When you're motivated, nothing can stop you. You're like, man, I'm so pumped up right now. This is awesome. And you're motivated. You see in the beginning, you're like, oh my gosh, it's the first 2 days, first 3 days. You're journaling for the very first time. You get the perfect moment. You're writing things down. You tell a couple people. But here's the reality. The excitement loses its shine. The checklist feels mundane. The habits are boring. And you start to drift back, right back to your old tendencies. And then you feel guilty. And you're like, ugh, here I am. I'm tired. I said I wouldn't do that. I said I would do this. But yeah, I'll wait till tomorrow. I'll start over later. But you're shifting right back to your tendencies, right? You're motivated, then you go through the excitement, then you go through the work that you aren't currently doing to change, and then it gets into work, and then it gets boring, then it gets mundane, and then you forget, and then the excitement goes away. Well, that's that's just a piece of it, right? Um, I want to talk about health as the foundation. This part right here, this is the anchor for helping you achieve your goals. If you want 2026 to be different, you must be different. Heck, if you want tomorrow to be different, you must be different. You must be different mentally, physically, spiritually. I talk about this in chapter 2. A strong spirit fuels a strong mind, and a strong mind fuels a strong body. When one is weak, the others carry the burden. Your routine matters. The sleep matters. Your workouts matter. Your body is a thermostat for your discipline. When you're tired, inflamed, stressed, scattered, you don't set goals, you survive. Here's what someone told me, and I learned this credits on this. A healthy man has many dreams and wishes. A sick man only has one. So again, when you're tired and you're stressed and your brain's all over the place, you can't possibly be in the mood to improve. You're just trying to survive. If you want a plan that sticks, start with a consistent sleep schedule. I know you're saying, what does that have to do with my goals? Well, if you're tired the next day or you're fatigued, all the things you prepared for go to the wayside. Daily movement. Are you working out? Are you rucking? Are you walking? Are you running? What are you doing? Are you doing CrossFit? Are you weightlifting? Are you doing, I almost said jazzercise, right? Whatever it is you do, are you moving? Because movement is medicine. Do you have a sacred daily ritual? Do you pray? Do you journal? Do you meditate? Are you taking cold showers? What is it that you're doing? A ritual is this. Brushing your teeth in the morning, I hope for most of you, is a ritual. Get up. You don't think about it. You don't miss it. And when you do miss it, it's off. First of all, some people tell you that your ritual is off if you're not brushing your teeth very consistently. But a ritual is something that you miss when you don't do it. It feels out of place. Okay. Also, reducing the noise you feed your brain. What are you exposing your mind to? When it comes to your mental health, like, are you listening to podcasts? Are you listening to YouTube videos? Are you listening to audio? Are you listening to music? What kind of music are you listening to? Are you listening to the sermon from church? Or are you listening to all the things that just put in more rhetoric? What's funny is I talk to people and I'm curious. I say, what is it with these, binge watching? Because I do that too. Why do you binge watch? Because people say it helps them relax. It helps them forget about the things that they're stressed out about. Well, I don't think that that's a very good plan or it's a very good reason. I think if you binge watch, maybe it's because you enjoy the show, but don't binge watch because you say it relaxes you. Because 9 times out of 10, it's still stimuli. You're still feeding your brain something, right? And I hope what you're feeding your brain is good because when your body is strong, your self talk improves. When your mind is clear, you're able to execute, you're able to think clearly and do things with a clear mind. And when your spirit is grounded, your discipline holds. It's so true that self talk can't be great when you're sick or when you're not feeling well or when your mind is not right or when your mental health is suffering. Because when you're not feeling well, guess what? You're just talking to yourself in survival mode. Oh, I wish I got over this. Oh, my stomach hurts. Man, I don't know what this is. Oh, is this seasonal affective disorder? Is this because it's dark? Am I feeling blue? Do I have things that I'm really stressed and worried about? That's the self-talk. Well, systems and methods is what I want to help you see clearly through. It's not just having some program or having some um, book or journal that walks you through things. Like those are very helpful and they condition your mind, but people don't rise to their goals, they fall to their systems. What does that mean? You hear this all the time. And yes, I said it in my book. You plan, your plan is only as strong as your daily method. Your plan is only as strong as your daily method, okay? So some people are able to, they have this, they have this gene in them, a gene that they get very habitual or they get very addicted to something and they just go all in, right? So, I mean, I know there's people out there that, man, they started going to the gym 3 years ago. They lost 100 pounds. They're amazing looking. They've competed in bodybuilding shows. I've seen people just start a business from day one. You know, as time passes by, they created great habits for themselves, and now their business is flourishing. But there are few people who we call naturals who have the tendencies to follow through on a plan. It's not that everyone is weaker or better, it's that people's natural tendencies come out. For instance, when people say, "Oh, Jay, you can talk to anybody. You're great in sales. You should you're a salesperson." My tendency is to be outgoing and assess the reaction to what people are telling me and ask for the feedback and connect things. And if that makes me a salesperson, good, versus a person who finds it hard to speak to a stranger. Here's a test for yourself. Are you the kind of person that if you're in a grocery store and you haven't seen this person for perhaps a year and you see someone that looks like them, but you're not sure if it's them or not, will you go out of your way to connect with them? It's a tendency of mine. I have to satisfy that tendency by saying, "Hey, aren't you Marcus?" And if I'm wrong, guess what? I'm wrong. But these are tendencies. I have a tendency to be attracted to group functions such as rucking. right? I love when a group gets together. If I were to do it myself, it would be difficult. When I say group, it could be a group of 3 people, a group of 30 people. As long as I know that someone else is counting on me, the system to create a schedule at 5 a.m. to be greeted, to do the same thing over and over, it's my routine. And when I miss it, I feel like something is out of place. Here's the good news. You don't need 19 apps. You don't need a 42-step routine. You need a simple system that you trust. Okay, for example, again, a morning routine, a high priority task, something that you do every day that's high priority, that's something you must do every day, or the day is a failure. Scheduling blocks of time. Do you schedule blocks of time, or do you just happen to let your day fall into place or let everyone schedule all over your calendar? I have scheduled blocks of time to where there are things that I'm going to work on that are non-negotiable, but I always have to get better. I have to improve. You know, your accountability partner or your coach, are you checking in with them? It doesn't have to be daily, but on a frequent basis enough to not let the feeling subside. A weekly review. Are, are you doing a weekly review? Do you have a small reward system that these things are attached to? Systems are important and they keep you moving when motivation quits. I'll give you another example. Most of you are familiar with the CRM system. It's a customer relationship management system. Let's say you have a business and you have 300 customers, 300 people that have purchased from you, 300 people that you know. If you set up a system to be top of mind, one person will say, well, I'll just call them and I'll just text them when I think about it. Then there's another person that says, I can't leave that to chance. Rain, snow, or sleet, or sun. What I'm going to do is a email will go out once a month. High value, show them I'm still thinking of them, make it look a little personal, but the system will do it. Who do you think's going to be more successful? The person juggling 300 in their mind or the person with 300 in a system with frequent contact and that's purposeful, timely to the season? Okay? That's what I mean by that. The environment matters more than you think. You can't out-discipline a bad environment. You your environment is shaping you every single second. The temperature, the noise, the clutter, right? And it's funny because my wife talks to me and says, "Hey, how can you work in that stuff sometimes? Sometimes I have a cluttered desk." And you're right, when it's clean, I feel so much better. I feel like fresh and I feel like I can take on the world. When I'm cluttered, I say it doesn't bother me, but I have to do workarounds. I have to work around things. I don't need it to be perfect, but it sure helps when your area is nice and clean. Who you're around. Who are you spending time with? Who are the people that are giving you inputs? Who are you giving input to? Who are the people that give you feedback when you need it the most? Are they truthful? Are they telling you what you want to hear? Are they your real friends, right? The physical space you work in, I've addressed that already. There's a lot of things going on right now from post COVID, from 2020, where people are now working from home or they're hybrid. And I wonder, some people are better working off on their own, and some people are working in a group, and it changes the dynamic. You pick up the habits of your spouse or your coworkers, your digital environment, your phone, your feed, your notifications. I I think that the phone, these electronics are great, but do you get notifications from Reddit about some subject you don't even care about? Does your phone Oh, here's something else I can't stand. when phones aren't on vibrate, you hear someone's phone ding, ding, and we're in a room and it's kind of semi-quiet, and then they start tapping on their keys and you go, like, really? Do you not hear that? It's distracting, right? It's your digital environment. In chapter 5, I say the room you're in determines the standard you live in. If you want to elevate, you got to change a room. You have to put yourself in a place where there are people much smarter than yourselves doing things greater than you. I mean, I know it feels great to be big fish in a little pond and know more than everybody else. Like, I love sometimes to impart knowledge and be the one in the center. I love that. But I also love to be in the room where I'm like, aha, I've heard that before. Man, I know I should do that. I've said that before, but why aren't I doing that now? Because I want to be in a room where there's people better than I am too, because I want them to pour into me. It's the things I crave, the growth, the challenge, the pressure. If you want to grow too, you got to prune the noise. You got to block out all the haters. You got to block out all the things that say you can't. You have to get past the noise. Got to get rid of some things. You have to clean out your cupboard, so to speak. You got to get rid of the stuff that you don't want to put inside of your body anymore. It's it's elementary, but for somebody, okay, I've been sober for, I don't know, 3 years, almost 3 years, 4 months. Here's what I do know. I know that I was able to do it because I just decided. There's over 200 bottles of bourbon in my house, but they were downstairs. It gave another level of access, but I didn't put it in front of me. Matter of fact, I just made the decision, and then we'll talk about that more later. But if you want a breakthrough, stop giving proximity to people who aren't going anywhere. You want a breakthrough, it's easy for these people to say, what? And it's not that they want you to fail. They're not saying, oh, Jay, hope you fail. They're saying, hey, why are you doing so much? Or, hey, you're making the rest of us look really bad. Or, hey, isn't it okay just to have what you have? Why do you have to be so extra? Some of the things that make people successful cost nothing at all. Being kind, acknowledging those around you, and just being a good person. I think that really helps you with your self-talk. When you're kind to others, you tend to be kind to yourself too. Here's where I think people miss. They miss measurable, simple, or scary goals, okay? Let me kind of land the plane. Your goals should be simple. If it requires a spreadsheet to understand, man, it's too big. If it's got to get all complicated and you have to be reminded of your goals, if it's not accessible, if it's somewhere you write it and you put it away, not simple, right? Don't make it complex. Doesn't have to be, anything, some journal that has 10 steps to better person. Like, just keep it simple. We all talk about measurable. The goals have to be measurable. You can't say, I want to get healthier. You have to say, I'm going to fast 16 hours a day and I'm going to eat for 8. And my goal is to limit the amount of calories, not to deprive myself, but to deprive the window in which I'm accessing food. Okay? I'm going to ruck 5 miles 3 times a week. That is measurable. That is measurable. That's 750 miles a year, plus or minus, right? Usually plus. Lose 10 pounds. learn a new language, get my certification, bench 350 pounds 10 times, read one chapter every morning. Those are all measurable. Now, you have to make your goals a little scary. Okay. This is where people say, oh, I just want to be safe. I don't even know why people make a goal if you just want to be safe. Don't even have a goal. Well, I want to do 7, but I'm going to say 6 just in case I don't hit 7. Why do you do that? I want to talk about that. I want to address you right now. Why do you have a safe goal that says, well, I'm, I don't want to do 10 units. I mean, I could do 10 units, but I'm just going to tell 8 so that no one's disappointed if I do 8. And that's my safe goal. No, no. You have to make it a little scary because fear creates focus. When you're scared of it, you're like, oh my gosh, how do I do this? I mean, in 30 days, I'm going to jump out of a plane. Or in 30 days, I'm going to run a 10K. Or in 30 days, I'm going to lose 15 pounds. I mean, that's like, because the fear makes you think, okay, it's top of your mind, like, whoa, this scares me. There's a little bit of pressure. Okay, now it's real. When you start to perspire and your heart palpitates, that's a good goal. Now, I didn't say jump out of an airplane with no parachute. I didn't say run a 300-mile race. I didn't say lose 50 pounds in a month. I didn't say any of that because it's got to be scary, but not so unrealistic that you can't see it or others can see it. You don't have to be extreme. You just have to have focus. And if you're too comfortable, if it's too, you know what, I'm just going to lose 5 pounds in a month. You know what, I'm just going to run. I know I can do a 10K. I'm just going to do a 5K. Comfort creates decay. When you're comfortable, your excitement goes down, your fear goes down, your adrenaline goes down. And now you're like, it's all right. Next time, I'll do it later. Nah. And then finally, it's got to be reward based. This is from page 118. Reward the process, not just the finish line. So let me give you an example. If I go 30 days fasting without cheating, my fasting window, if I do 16 hours a day, 8 hours eat, 16-hour fast for 30 days in a row, I will do this for myself. I will purchase this. I will travel to. Equate your goal to some kind of monetary or valuable or a good reward, right? So let's just say I'm fasting. I mean, in there I've got to probably not go to restaurants, probably going to avoid those, probably going to avoid all the time that it takes me to prepare to eat. Like all these things are valuable. So what if I said, okay, it's going to cost me about 20 to 30 bucks to eat out a day on average. So let's say 30 days, 30 bucks. That's $900. $900. Would it be so bad to say, hey, I'm going to buy the new Apple Watch? Or I'm going to buy me a set of these books, or whatever you value that you've wanted for a long time, that you know you can reward yourself. Because when you tie the reward to the process, to the 30 days, that's not just the finish line. That's every day. Because when you do something habitually, it's 1 day of fasting. That's cool. 2 days. Yeah. Whoa. 3. All right. 4. We're creating momentum. 5. All right. We're still thinking. This is weird. 7, 8, 9, 10. 30 days of fasting, 30 days of training, 30 days of going to the gym, 30 days of listening to a podcast, 30 days of learning a language. Small wins keep the engine running, keeps it exciting. And then it becomes a game where you don't want to give your results back. So you just keep going. Pretty much how I quit drinking. Now, this episode, part 1 of 4, was about honesty, brutal honesty. You say you want to win, but do you have a plan? You say you want it, but you don't act like it. You have to be real with yourself and you have to look back and say, what are all the things that I purchased? What are all the programs I did? What are all the books that I did and read through and only partially finished? And what are some of the classes I've started that I've stopped? What about the promotion I was going for? And what about the things that I did to make myself better? And now I'm not doing them anymore. Well, it's because you're lying to yourself. It's because you don't value it that much. It's because you want to stay the same and you don't want to get any better. It's crazy. And I want to leave you with this thought that I want you to carry on this 4-part series. And I read it and I don't know how much it has to do with goals, but it struck me so hard. When you are born into this world, you look like your parents. But when you die, you look like your decisions. Oof, that's so good. That's so good. You say you want to win, you have no plan? Well, you better get one. Next episode, part 2, we're going to build the 2026 game plan framework step by step. No fluff, no theory. It's a concrete blueprint that you can follow. But for now, ask yourself the question I opened with. Do you even have a plan? And if not, when will you finally decide to create one? Spoiler alert, the answer better be today. Until then, let's go.
Thanks for tuning in to The Connection. It's been a fantastic journey exploring stories, insights, and inspirations that bridge our lives. Remember, every connection has the power to transform. Please subscribe, rate, and review. Your feedback keeps us going. In this connected world, let's make meaningful connections that enrich lives. Now, signing off until next time, The Connection.